Yo, Darren and Jason, we breaking the matrix. Circuits and codes, we shaping the basics. Switching the system, yeah, we the mutation. Tech disruptors, innovation and station. Ain't race stopping, algorithms popping. Bikes getting flipped, watch the data start dropping. We the ones they fear, Wi-Fi in the gear. Crypto in the veins, blockchain pioneer. Screens glow cold, but the minds run hot. Silicon dreams in a terabyte plot. Hacking the globe, yeah, we shatter the mode. Data overload, watch the future explode. This what the code, break the mold. Tech disruptors, we too bold. Darren and Jason, the future sold. Plug it like on, watch it unfold. Laser shot focus, the lens, stay zooming. Zones in the air, AI's booming. Deep dive tech, no room for illusions. Cloud in the sky, no room for confusion. Fiber optic flows, connections insane. Hacking the mainframe, rewiring the game. Blueprints we sketch, revolutions we fetch. Echoes in the net, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren. My co-host's name is...
My name is Jason.
And back by popular demand, the man, Mark, Soldier Knows Tech. How you going, buddy?
Doing good. How y'all doing?
Good. So it's funny. I think we had you on this time around this time last year was the last time we had you on the show. And listen, we had a lot of great feedback when you were on last time. They were wondering who this handsome black guy is in our podcast. And I was like, it's definitely not one of us. In all jokes aside, Mark, you're an awesome tech creator and YouTube master. And we're glad to have you back on the show. How you been, buddy?
I've been chilling, keeping busy, like all of us are doing now.
Yeah. Now, really off the cuff, the last product you reviewed was?
That I uploaded. I think it was the Eufy S2 vacuum cleaner, robotic vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Or either a Blix e-bike.
Okay. Now,
those are my last two videos.
Last time you were on, I think you mentioned you were getting a lot of e-bike reviews that were starting to come in. Is that still happening?
Yeah. It's starting to kick up around springtime. Once it starts to warm up, these companies start kicking in. So yeah, they're fun. And, I like to do them because I get out the office. I can get out there in the good weather. Well, we'll be hot here soon in St. Louis.
Soon.
Fresh air, I would say.
Long winter, that's for sure. Jason's in Ohio. I'm in Toronto. So we've had basically the same kind of weather. And it's been a long, cold winter.
It was like 80 degrees on Thursday or one day last week. And then we had like tornadoes and hail. And then it was 30 degrees.
Well, same thing.
Today's actually quite warm here in Toronto, like 10 degrees Celsius, which is like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. I went and fired up the barbecue. I got the barbecue going for lunch today and cleaned it up and, grilled some steaks. So I was, I'm ready for spring. It's time.
Yeah.
Now, welcome back to the show. For those of you who are new to the Tech Disruptors podcast, we talk tech, reviews, news, rumors, AI, robotics, you name it. We're here for it. Now, we're going to jump right in today, Mark, and we will come back to everything you do, but we're going to get you to comment in on a couple of stories here today. So
Can I start with a non-tech story?
Absolutely. Let's go.
I don't know why this is interesting to me. It popped up on my feed. So name one of your favorite, both of you guys, name one of your favorite candies, if you eat candy. I mean,
I'll let
a
Mark
candy bar.
Go ahead, Mark.
Candy bar?
Yeah.
I would say Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Okay, Darren?
I'm more of a Butterfinger guy. I don't know if you guys would know Butterfinger. Butterfinger gets stuck in your teeth. You taste it for like 3 days afterwards. It's pretty special.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to say Butterfinger or whatchamacallit. One of those two.
Yeah.
But in Europe, there was a heist.
Oh, I saw this. Yes.
12 tons of Kit Kat bars were stolen in Europe. So I have a couple questions. Why Kit Kat and how they get away with 12 tons?
Now, can I just add to this? Apparently, this has the potential to create a Kit Kat shortage, in Europe. That's how many Kit Kats were stolen. 12 tons is a lot of Kit Kats, right? That's 413,000 units of Kit Kats.
For those of you listening in the UK, Europe area, start buying them up because they're going to be worth lots of money. It's like COVID.
A RAM shortage. Shortage all over.
Or the COVID toilet paper situation.
So why would they steal Kit Kats? That's a really good question.
Yeah, but so no one picked Kit Kat as their favorite candy bar.
I mean, it's a solid choice. I wouldn't say it's my favorite choice. It's good for sharing, I guess is a good way to put it. but I don't know. Yeah, like really, I saw this article and I was
It's
like,
Easter
man,
time, so it's
it
kind
is.
of a
Okay.
could be
Are
a
they
little more of
melting
a.
it down?
What was that?
Mark, are they melting them down and like making some like chocolate eggs for Easter? Like, what's happening there?
They might. I'm just surprised they don't use air tags. You know, like you got to put an air tag.
For real,
That
seriously.
many tons, you know, you got to have at least one air tag.
You know what's going to happen right now? I'm telling you right now, all these chocolate manufacturers, they're all of a sudden fucking air tagging all their shipments and all their trucks because this is like a loophole that no one saw coming, right? Like you just scored yourself a.
But it says here, good news. There's no concerns for consumer safety, and supply is not affected. That's what Kit Kat said on X. Of all places to post that was on X, but I don't know. How do you move 12 tons of anything without getting caught?
I don't know. Like, what did they like steal the truck? Like, how did you get that much?
It's like Fast and Furious 32.
This
it's
is
all
it.
the family. Yeah. You got Dom and you got
no video at all of this. Huh?
No video.
Well, I don't know if there's video. They may not be releasing that
yet.
yet.
What if it's security footage? Because I would love to see that. Them just hauling ass with a bunch of Kit Kats flying out the back down the highway.
I'm serious. Don't you remember the Fast and Furious when they're driving down with the safe?
Yeah. A high-speed chase.
That's what Dom did. They had a safe full of Kit Kats.
That actually, yeah. Someone, Jimmy in the chat said Bounty. Now, you know, I always say Bounty mixes well with everything. So if you don't know what Bounty is, that's like chocolate and coconut. Oh, you don't know? Okay, never.
No,
yeah.
I mean, never heard of that.
So I
thought you meant they're holding it for ransom.
No, not like that kind of Bounty. So there's a chocolate bar called Bounty, and it's essentially kind of like coconut covered in milk chocolate. It's like one of the greatest chocolate bars ever made, but very, very
with
rare.
coconut.
With coconut. With coconut. But yeah, Jimmy, I completely agree with you on that one. I think that's definitely a play. But yeah, Butterfinger, amazing. You know what I would never understand though? And explain to me just really quickly about chocolate while we're here. I don't understand people who buy mint chocolate. Because like I see mint chocolate this way. If I wanted my chocolate to taste like mint, I would just take a fucking Kit Kat, squeeze some toothpaste on that shit, and just fucking go to town. Right? I don't understand why mint chocolate is that popular.
Well, when you say mint, do you mean like Andy's mints, or do you mean like York peppermint patty?
Both, either or. Right?
Why not? That's amazing. Those are amazing.
I mean, they're okay.
You get your sweet tooth and you get your fresh breath.
That's what I'm. Fair point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You don't want to eat fluoride that's in toothpaste. That's probably not good for your stomach.
It's fine. I'll survive.
We do not condone eating toothpaste and attack disruptors. Just a fair warning there.
Now, there's a lot of chat, a lot of conversation going on in the chat right now about the greatest chocolate bar, Mars bar, Twix, also written Mint
Twix.
Aero.
Yeah.
Mint Aero, yeah.
I never heard of Mint Aero, but I remember the Twix commercials when they're like fighting over left or right, even though it's the same exact thing.
Yes.
Like choose the left or I choose the right. And yeah, I thought it was kind of funny.
Now, I want to ask you guys a question, just moving away from chocolate bars for a second.
Sure.
If you look at your phone right now and you look through your apps, what's the most useless app you have installed on your phone? And by useless, I mean you install it on every device, but you very rarely use it because its functionality is just not great.
Wow. That's I'm looking through my apps right now. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
One that I've installed that I don't use.
Yes. So like a useless app on your phone that you know you have it on there just in case one day you need to use it, but you really don't use it that often. That's my question. I would say for me, like I have Roborock, which is the electric vacuums. They have their own app, which you're meant to elaborate.
Sure.
I never log into it. It's on every phone I have, but I've never logged into it, not even once.
Huh.
So I'll go over to Mark first.
I got one.
Mark, what's the most useless app you download every time you set up a new device, but very rarely access?
He's doing the same thing we did. We're like scrolling through.
Very rarely access it. Well, I would say this is a great app that I forget to use.
Okay.
But it's called RunP.
Okay. What does RunP do?
So RunP is an app that gives you the best time to go pee when you're watching a movie in the theater. So
wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So like people go and watch and say, all right, at this point, they don't spoil it. They just say that, okay, it's a little bit slow right here. And you can afford to
that's
get
actually
up
really
for it.
cool.
That's actually a great app.
Yeah. But I always forget to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always forget to use it. But yeah, you can also have it set to just be a reminder, so it can gently vibrate your phone when that time comes up and stuff too. So that's a
Wow.
great app that I don't use. So it's
That's
not a
a
bad
great
app,
app.
just I don't use it.
Yeah. Just okay. And what about you, Jason?
Well, mine's going to be one that's probably hated by a lot. I mean, I shouldn't say people are going to give me hate for it, but it's WhatsApp.
Okay.
Like I had a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a couple connections, but I get more spam on WhatsApp than
yeah,
anything
anything
else.
Yeah.
But Telegram is what I mainly use, and obviously Google Messages. But I had to point out, I think Mark was holding was that an S26 Ultra?
Yep.
I see. Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Samsung. All right.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in just a second. Stand by. We get to run right here too. Okay, so the reason I bring this up is I would argue that the most useless app has only just launched across the world just this week. In fact, in the US specifically.
Okay.
The White House now has its own app.
Why would that be useless?
So, well, I'm going to, especially for me as a Canadian, this means nothing to me.
Obviously.
But they've just launched an app, which is essentially, as it says here on Android Authority, a wrapper for the existing government website. So essentially you can submit an ICE tip. You can sign up for their newsletter. You can read, what's going on.
It says a way to text the president and tip off ICE.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that actually works. I'm sure there's some kind of chat feature, but I'm definitely sure it's not the president who's responding.
Could you imagine if you're texting with the president? I mean, that conversation would be quite interesting.
So, I will say this. I will say this. So in here in Toronto, it's publicly known that the mayor of Toronto advertises his number. Like you can text and call the mayor of Toronto. Now, he doesn't answer all the time, but it is reported that he actually does respond to texts more often than not. So you can message him, hey, dude, what the fuck? Clear up the snow, downtown Toronto. And sometimes, if he's not busy, he actually responds to certain messages. He's actually been known to call his constituents and return their calls too. So I don't think this is ever going to happen in the US because I think Donald Trump doesn't want that fire.
I wouldn't say fire. He's just very polarizing. So there's both.
Yes.
There's people on both sides. I mean, he's gonna get praise and hate, but that's true about anybody in the political, sphere. I guess you could say.
Anyway, they've launched this app.
Mark, you already downloaded, didn't you?
He's already downloaded.
Well, I'm trying to look at the picture to see if that's the Trump phone.
No, or we're coming back to that. We got news on that.
There is someone I thought.
It's funny that they still haven't got that yet.
Yeah.
Is that in your upcoming reviews, Mark?
Oh no.
No.
One, I highly doubt that it'll ever get released, even though it's just some standard Android phone. But they still
hang on, because I got news on that. We got breaking news on the Trump phone coming in just a second.
It's probably one of the greatest phones ever made.
For sure, absolutely.
He laughs.
Gold color. Yeah. Now, according to the White House app, you can actually text Donald Trump on 45470. You text President Trump and say hi. I don't know if he responds necessarily.
It's probably canned AI responses or something, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, look, here is what it offers. Basically, you receive breaking news alerts on major announcements from the White House, watch live streams, dive into a dynamic media library packed with highlights. I love how vague that statement is. A dynamic media library packed with highlights. Latest policy breakthroughs. You can send your voice.
Do we get updates on the ballroom status?
I would love to know what the status of the ballroom is. Mark's just waiting for his invite.
Darren, Canada.
I mean, we should determine one of us has to download and try to text the president right now.
I think, Jason, you should do this live.
Why did I get nominated? Why did I get
feel like
nominated?
Jason should do this live. You should do this right now.
It'd be better if a Canadian did it.
No, I wouldn't even be able to download it. It's on the App Store. But I think
it is only US only numbers. You can.
100%.
US only phones, yeah.
So Jason is going to do this live.
It's probably an iOS only app because I don't have an Apple device right now.
Well, anyway, we're going to try and text President Trump. Maybe give him the link to the. Give him the link and just see if he joins us. That would be amazing. So we'll do this live.
I don't know if here's the thing. I'm downloading it right now.
Okay.
Oh my God, I gotta go back here
now. While Jason is busy texting the president. Mark, Mark brought up the Trump phone. Now, Mark, as a tech reviewer, how excited on a scale of 1 to 10 are you on the release of prospective Trump phone?
Well, it'll be I would say a 5, just to
5?
hear people's perspective on it. I think people might have high expectations for it who actually want to buy it, and then just for them to see that it's not what they're it's not what they're expecting. But also I'm curious to who would actually review it, right? Like,
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with someone that reviews it because it's just a product, but it would be interesting just to see that dynamic, and that conversation would just be crazy. So for the algorithm and views and stuff, it would be good to review, but it's one of those things where you just already know that it's not do
you think tech reviewers are going to jump all over it?
I think there will be some. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be something that's something that people are going to be looking for, and just that in the title will probably get people to want to look at it.
I'm sorry. This app is freaking stupid. I have to admit. So I shouldn't say that. I watch myself because it is the White House. So when you open up the app, there's a little, when you go to a website, it has a little chat so you can do live chat.
Is it a paperclip and it tells you how to edit?
It pops up and says text the president. Well, it gives that one of those, 6-digit numbers. It's not really a phone number. And I'm not effing kidding you. When you hit text the president, it opens up Google Messages or WhatsApp. That's the only two options you get, at least on my phone.
Yeah.
And it pre-populates something in the text box. Can you imagine what it's wanting me to text to the president right away?
Oh, something. It's got to be glowing him up. It's got to be like, "Hi, Mr. President."
No. It's three words.
Hi.
It literally puts in "greatest president ever!" !
Oh,
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Look, I didn't type that shit in there.
Wow. Can you delete that? Like, is that possible to?
It has to be. You have to be able to delete it because it's. I'm just gonna send our link.
Yeah, just send the link.
I literally just sent our link.
That's it. Perfect. If he joins our podcast, that'll be the greatest tech podcast of all time.
Why would it be the great? It'd be the worst tech. He's like the worst person to talk about tech with.
So, Mark, I don't know if you know this.
Sorry, guys.
We've been petitioning to Netflix to get on Netflix podcasts for the past month now. So every show we try to mention Netflix podcasts to fuck with the algorithm so that they actually recognize us. No phone calls yet, but it's early. It's still, it's still in its infancy. We're getting there.
Well, they just raised
the
their
president
prices.
if you get the president, that'll happen.
Yeah, that'll be impressive.
Well, they just raised their prices at Netflix, so you think they can afford us,
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. If I hear that little bing that says that someone's joined our thing, I might shit myself today, just so you know, because he's
I didn't send a join link. I sent just a link. Do you want to send a join link to him?
I say a join link. Send the join link. Let's get him on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Even if I got a comment in the chat that basically said,
I sent him just a link to the live stream. The chance of him joining, I'm sure he's scouring this waiting.
Why don't you put, why don't you join our podcast and then send the link? I think that's the play.
I swear to God, if SWAT and Secret Service surround my house, you're in.
They've already got your location now. You signed off on all the
what permissions? Yeah, what permissions?
No, there were no permissions at all.
Oh,
nothing. No. Yeah. Well, he's the president. He doesn't need permissions, right? He can do it.
Yeah, true. Now, Mark, the Trump T1 phone has been certified by the FCC. Now, that's usually the last step before being released to the public. Now, we've been following the Trump phone for some time now, basically saying we don't believe it's real. We actually think it's a bit like the Escobar phone. Mark, I don't know if you remember the Escobar phone, which was the Escobar family trying to sell a Z Fold 5 coated in gold. There was a little bit of a controversy about that a few years back. But Jason and I have been following this pretty closely. And as it seems, like it's cleared by the FCC. So it looks like it could be right around the corner.
Darren.
Yes.
Would you ever doubt that the Trump phone would not pass FCC?
Well,
the head of the FCC was appointed by President Trump.
Yes. No, but I mean, we haven't heard this yet. So
right, that's true.
Yeah, right. So that's new information for us. And I know that The Verge has been following it like we have since infancy. And, Dominic Preston, if you're listening, Dominic, we're right here with you, buddy, following this releases of these phones. Jason has ordered 6 of them. He's still waiting for them to arrive at his house.
It's just a hell of a deal. I mean, one of the best phones ever. Gold cladding, like we had with the Escobar phones. I mean,
Yes.
we just need some clantly dressed women smashing other
Yes.
phones like the Escobar commercials, and then we'd be good to go.
I just went to the website for the first time. They're selling renewed S24s and iPhones on here. That's
Right now,
new, too.
currently.
They weren't doing that before. The only option you
Yeah.
have, I think the price of them is like what, 45, 47 a month, because he's the 45th president and the 47th president or something like that.
Yeah, something like crazy like that. Now, Mark, so we've been taking guesses at this phone, right? So we believe that it's going to be like a rebranded existing phone. And we've had a few guesses over the last couple of weeks. I thought it looks like a TCL device. Jason thinks it looks more like a Motorola.
Or a blue, like a BLU.
Or a blue.
Yeah.
So do you think it's going to be like right out of the factory Chinese special, or are we getting a rebranded like S23 Ultra?
it's kind of it's I would bet that it's rebranded, because like for them to go through the whole I mean, maybe they can get someone. No, it'll definitely be rebranded for sure. Yeah,
building a phone from the ground up is not easy.
Yeah,
right.
That's not. Yeah.
So on screen, Mark, is an image of the actual T1 Trump phone.
Oh my!
This was shared by one of their execs.
Oh, that looks different from the one on the website.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah.
Well, if that's the phone right there, we already know it's the greatest phone ever made.
Now, look,
and Mark, you live in the U.S. like I do, so we are obligated. It's our civic duty to purchase this phone and use this service.
You know, every time I see this photo, it's not the American flag that I love. It's not the T1. It's the fact that it says Trump Mobile on the camera bar at the top there. That makes it so special. I feel like
I just don't understand why the T1 is so big. Like, why make T1 the biggest thing on the back of the phone? Put a flag on it. That's cool. If you want to put a flag on it, that's good. It's no one outside of America is going to use it anyways.
They could have made this nice. Let's just preface this by saying, if this was a decent color gold and it just had like embossed Trump Mobile with an American flag next to it in a small text at the bottom, this could have been a great looking phone.
You could have reached out to Realme, Red Magic. They all make those like Iron Man editions, but they're all Chinese. He can't tell anybody he's doing that. Could you imagine? Have you seen the Iron Man? What was the Poco phone?
Yeah,
the Iron Man edition. Could you imagine if they did a version for a Trump phone that was actually his face embossed, like 3D?
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
I'll pull up imagine if it looked like this. Ready?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of the Iron Man mask, you could put the Trump. What's his new thing that he started? Some new Defenders of something. And, they could do all kinds of magic with this.
It's true. It's true. But anyway, that's the White House app coming in hot. Now,
no response. It's been crickets on my end.
Yet.
No.
Well, if he joins it again, it'll be pretty awesome.
Well, he can either watch or join. I said them both.
This is perfect. I love this. That White House exec that's like 22 years old, has got his first job as an intern, is responding to these messages.
If my wife comes down here and says, "Hey, there's a guy in a black suit and knocking on the door," I don't know, honey. Lock the door.
Now, this week, we saw the death of a product as well. But not just the death of a product, an accessory which arguably is the most expensive accessory that Apple sells on their website.
Not the case we talked about last week?
No, not the case. No, that's a whole other thing. So this week, Apple discontinued the Mac Pro, which was that cheese grater looking device. But I'll ask Mark this first. Mark, do you know what accessory I'm referring to that was one of the most expensive accessories that went along with the Mac Pro?
Mac Pro.
The wheels.
Bingo. Well done,
I forgot
Mark.
about the wheels. Now, what are they?
The $700 wheels are also gone for good with the Mac Pro. Yes.
Should we have a moment of silence?
We should have a moment of silence.
Okay. That's all right.
So for those of you listening at home, Apple's Mac Pro is this desktop computer cheese grater looking thing. And its wheels were $700 to add wheels to the bottom of the desktop.
Are these wheels kind of like the wheels on the bottom of a chair, like a computer chair? You could repurpose those then. So once your MacBook's, obsolete in like 6 months, You could take the wheels off. And
I'm
put
going
them
to be
on
honest with you, Jason. If you bought $700 wheels for a fucking Mac Pro, you have way too much money. You need to.
Oh, I bought 10 of them.
I wonder if there's like a
Without the
proprietary
MacBook.
connection though. You know, as Apple, so
Oh,
it might be something.
Yeah.
It might be
Yeah.
something where
Yeah.
it's not going to.
Here's
work
an
on
idea,
anything else.
though.
Darren, I bought 10 of these without a MacBook
True. This
Pro.
is fair.
Or not
No, but
MacBook,
you know
a
what?
Mac Pro. Sorry.
Think about this for a second, though. Imagine you took all the inside of that thing out. You put a handle. You ride around on that fucking thing like an e-bike. Put a little motor inside
in it.
there.
Yeah.
Right? You've got $700 wheels. You're going to fucking fly around the
Darren,
world.
I'll let
But
you
anyway.
do that. I'm not riding around on a Mac Pro. That's weird.
Well, anyway, so yes, $700 wheels that Apple used to sell on their website are no more, as is the Mac Pro. Now, obviously, the reason why the Mac Pro is gone is because of RAM shortages is a big part of this. And also, no one was buying the fucking thing because it was like $8 million to buy them.
Well, let me ask Mark something. Mark, are you an Apple guy or are you a Windows guy? Or you kind of dabble in both?
For computers, mostly I'm like 90% Apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the MacBook Neo? I have to ask because when it first was released, everyone said, oh, it's the netbook of this year. But it's kind of mixed. Some people say it's great to get people sucked into the Apple services and start paying. And some people say it's not worth the compromises. What are your thoughts if you've had any hands-on with it?
Well, I think this goes hand in hand. You know, them canceling the Mac Pro and this MacBook Neo shows that people who needed the power of the Mac Pro their M1 series with their iMacs and their MacBook Pros can, almost, basically do the same thing here, unless you're like working for Pixar or something. But then also they're showing with the Neo that their iPhone chips are powerful for 95% of the people out there who are just trying to do those basic things. So I think Apple is kind of cutting the fat when it comes to they were still releasing a lot of products, but when it comes to the computers, I think this is a sign where we're going to eventually end up where you're going to have the MacBook Neo and the MacBook Pro. Like that's just going to be those two options possibly. It doesn't make sense to have the Air when you got the Neo. Like it just, So I think we're going to end up there. And I think the Neo is a pretty cool product for the price and the performance that you're getting, just getting into the Apple ecosystem. I think it's really good. It's going to go after those Chromebooks, not just all the way there because it's still more expensive than some of the Chromebooks out there. But I think Apple's clearly showing that they're looking for affordability, but also understanding that consumers don't need to upgrade every 3-4 years now. I'm still using my M1 MacBook Air when I travel and edit.
Wow.
And that thing is just fine. Like I am bringing my Vision Pro for a bigger screen. So that's a little counterproductive, but it is processing wise for the videos that I shoot is still running fine.
That's interesting because about the Neo, like MKBHD released a video about the status of Windows compared, and he made a good point. Apple makes everything. Like they do the silicon, the hardware, the software, so it's all in-house. Whereas when you buy a Dell or an LG, they got to source those parts from other people and pay them, and they have to make a profit. So the same laptop you get for $599 or whatever the Neo is at Windows may not be as good because obviously there's more cost going into it. It should be interesting. I know with the Qualcomm chips, Snapdragon, they're trying to do something. I'm still a Windows person personally, but I'm not against it. I think Apple knows, hey, we're going to corner the market, and pretty soon you're going to see a decline if Microsoft doesn't get their stuff together. And I mean, they're losing money left and right. I mean, it's interesting. When Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy in the late 80s, early 90s, and now they're a $3-4 trillion company.
Yeah.
They're a juggernaut to be dealt with, and I think that's good for the competition, but Windows definitely needs to step up. I was just curious what your thoughts were. I've mostly 75% people have said it's been positive about it. Yeah.
Now, Mark, do you think, and that's a pointed question, do you think it'll kill the Chromebook?
No, okay. I still think they can reach a lower price point. And when it comes to education and stuff like that, it's about that dollar still.
It is. So, fair. Yeah.
So I think Apple could reach a lower price point in a couple of years if they, Apple doesn't like to do this, but if they just keep the original Neo and they can release newer versions of it, but keep that original Neo as the parts and stuff start to decrease as far as how much it costs to make them, and they're able to cut the price of that. They could do that, but Apple probably is just not going to continue to sell the original Neo and then release the Neo 2 and then want you to buy that. So I think Chromebooks still have a place there, just mostly just with the price tag.
Yeah. Now, Mark, can we flip away from Apple for a second? Let's talk S26 Ultra. So I know you have one, and I know just I think yesterday they released they did an update which allows you to now do AirDrop.
AirDrop.
AirDrop between Samsung.
And the Pixel can already do that too, right? Pixel.
The Pixel's had it for about a month or a couple of weeks, maybe. So I'll ask you, Mark, what are your initial impressions of the S26 Ultra? Like, were you an S25 Ultra user before?
Yeah. I mean, I've used them, but I used the S25 Ultra, but for the past like 2-3 years, it's less about operating system, more about form factor. So I've been a foldable fan. So I've been using the Z Folds as my primary phone. But ever since I had this S26 Ultra, I've been using it as my primary phone now for the last 2 months now. So, so yeah, it's a really solid phone. The privacy display is one of those things that I actually remember to use when I'm out in public and stuff, and so to turn it on. So it actually is very useful for me, and it's also nice just having the best cameras that Samsung makes versus on the Z Fold 7. I love that. It just doesn't have the same camera quality. So hopefully Samsung, hopefully Samsung makes a Z Fold Ultra or something that can have the same cameras. But overall, it's a really solid phone.
Now, one thing I noticed that I just got my review in it this week is I want to ask you about this if you saw this. So in the settings, there's an there's an option to download the Camera Assistant, which is a sub app.
Is this kind of like the Google Assistant then with the camera where it can help you set up a shot?
You can. No, this is more like extra features you can activate or deactivate. But one of the ones that I found the most interesting here is in the Camera Assistant, it allows you to shoot 24 megapixel photos in photo mode and keep it at that setting by activating it. Now, what that means is if you remember with the Oppo Find X9 Pro, they were making a big hoopla about how it shot natively in 24 megapixel photos in good lighting. Now, Samsung is basically saying here that you can use any of the lenses at 24 megapixels and keep it activated with that Camera Assistant.
Now, is this what Apple's doing? Doesn't Apple?
No,
Apple usually bends down to 12, but I think Apple was the first to do bend to 24, so it's a little more more information. So you're saying Samsung's following suit as well as Oppo. I didn't know Samsung had that option. So
I noticed what I've noticed just being like loving looking at cameras specifically with the Ultra is that it's made a bit of a difference in quality wise and just like amount of detail you're seeing in each frame of these photos.
Interesting.
Now you were an S25 Ultra, you said, Mark? Last year you used the S25 Ultra?
Yeah, I used it for the review, yeah.
So how do you feel? Do you feel like it's a worthy upgrade for those people that are like on the fence? Is there a feature that maybe like sells it for you?
It would be the privacy display by itself, because we know the software update is going to come to the S25 Ultra, so you're going to get a decent amount of that stuff. So hardware wise, there's no improvements really to the S Pen. The design is better, but it's not drastically better. So I think the privacy display is one of those things that I do use, and that would be I think if Samsung does it right, the privacy display can be their
it could be a flagship feature,
their FaceTime, because you don't have to explain it to people. People just know, okay, I can keep my screen private. It's an easy feature for people to understand. So I think if they bring it to other phones and stuff, that's going to be really good. So I would say, is it worth the upgrade? If you do the trade-in, especially when it first launched, get some money back, I think it will be worth it. It's not necessary like most upgrades, but it is one of those features that I would miss if I had to go back to the S25.
That's one of those the display tech we talked about before you got it, Darren. And most reviews said it was pretty good. There was a handful of people saying, oh, it's not that great. Well, I don't actually have one, but I went into a local T-Mobile store just to play with it for a little bit. And I was actually pretty impressed with how well it does work. What I like about it is you can click and check. You don't have to do the whole scrin, but you can do notifications and certain apps. Yeah, and that's perfect because, obviously, not I'm saying me personally, but like people who have more of a following, like your celebrities, stars, any of those people, this would really benefit them because everyone's trying to get a piece of something. And if you can,
I mean, I know Jason mostly uses it for OnlyFans because he has an OnlyFans account, so he doesn't want anyone else to see, like, the content.
Also, when I walked on the street, they're all like, "Oh, it's that Tech Disruptor guy?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I have the screen." And we
can't let anyone know. Yeah, it's a big issue.
not to go back to politics, but didn't the White House do an Only Farmers or something like that? They have an Only Farmers. It's a legit website, I believe. I saw the White House post.
There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of only
farmers only, farmers something. I don't know.
Farmers only. Maybe that, you know what?
That's another website. That's another website.
Oh, right. Okay. That's one that Jason also frequents. But
I am not a farmer, so I would not know the first thing about it. So
don't you live in Ohio? Isn't that like a farm country?
I grew up in a city. I now live in a place where there's a lot of farmers, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about farming.
Right. Okay.
So
right. So all those rumors that you grew up in a barn are untrue then.
Well, you ever heard of Immaculate Conception? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You just showed up in a manger.
I just showed up in a manger.
Anyway, yeah. So I just got my review unit on Friday, so I'm like barely set it up. But I was telling Mark and Jason a story off air. So as a tech person, I'm ashamed to admit this story, but so I got the device and I had some accessories from different manufacturers I was trying out. First thing I usually do is put a screen protector on because it's the easiest thing to kind of whip on and get going. So I messaged Jason literally 5 minutes after I installed the screen protector.
Should I read it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go. You should read. No, read it. Go ahead.
Keep telling your story. I gotta find it first.
Yeah. So I messaged Jason complaining about the screen, saying it's so blurry. What's going on? Is the privacy screen features so bad?
And here's what it was. So he sends me a picture of the phone because I don't have it. He likes to show off. Says, dude, the screen on this S26 Ultra is fucking horrible. It's like grainy, and the privacy display is not even on. I've never seen anything like it. And I was being nice. I'm like, it's not, I messed with it. Wasn't that bad. We're just tech guys. We're going to nitpick. And then, then you can go ahead and say what you said next.
So I realized many minutes later that I had accidentally installed a privacy screen protector on a privacy screen. And I had both of those features activated, which meant that I was getting double the amount of privacy screen, which in turn dimmed the screen dramatically and made it very fuzzy.
I'm not, I know that people like to be politically correct, so I'm going to say this, but Darren called him. First thing he said after a couple of messages, he goes, he just put, "I'm retarded, ... And I'm like, what? Like, I thought maybe he was going to make a joke. And then he was like, and then he explained what he just said.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not proud of myself. This was not my greatest tech moment. And it took me
just to FYI, when Darren was in grade school, he did ride a bus that was shorter than the others, and he did lick the windows. So we got,
yeah. So, I mean, I didn't feel like the smartest tech reviewer of all time. It took me a good 10 minutes to realize what I'd done. But anyway, besides that, when I did actually install a clear screen protector on the privacy screen, I agree with you, Mark, does work very, very well. And I think it is a feature that will trickle down. I think we might see it on the Z Fold 8. Maybe on the outer screen, particularly.
What do you guys think of this? The privacy screen on a smartwatch.
See, that would be amazing.
I don't know.
I don't want it everywhere. I want to see it on a laptop. It's one of those things that I want to see everywhere.
Tablets,
Now, really, it's not that hard to pull
on
off.
My computer screen.
Just cutting half the pixels, right? So, on your computer.
On my TV? No, I'm just kidding.
On your TV. Well, I mean, when Jason's editing all his content for his, special accounts,
right,
he might definitely need a privacy.
That's why I bought 10 Mac Pro wheels, because I make so much money,
That's correct. Yeah.
Right.
So all those feet pics and toe pics that he sends. Yeah. Anyway, so general impressions of the S26 Ultra have been pretty positive. I think initially when the phone came out, Mark, you might be able to speak to this. I feel like a lot of tech reviewers went, it's okay. It's just okay. It's kind of like last year's one. But I think, as with many Samsung devices, the more and more you use it is when you find more and more things that you actually appreciate about a Samsung device. Is that a fair statement, Mark?
Yeah, and I would say the outside of the privacy display, I think Samsung has the best version of AI on smartphones, where it's actually useful stuff. I mean, they have the stuff where you can add a animal to your picture and stuff like that, but the stuff within messages when it works, but then also just the other stuff throughout the OS, the AI is actually easy to understand, easy to learn, but also just useful that I take advantage of. And so that, alongside Google Gemini, which everyone's going to be using now since Apple's going to be using them too. It's a really good combination. So I think once I had when I was at the briefing for the phone and just listening to that, I was like, okay, yeah, because I was kind of like, okay, we got the privacy display, things leaked, but when you see the whole package that Samsung puts together with the software, it was definitely a phone that I think it exceeded my expectations for it. Overall still happy with it.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, it's just like with iPhone and even Google, the Pixel line. If you've got last year's S25 Ultra and you move to the S26, you're probably going to be kind of bored because there isn't a whole lot of there's updates, but nothing major. It goes for the iPhone 16 Pro Max to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I think that's the problem. Like for me, if I bought a Samsung right now, I haven't owned a Samsung probably in 6, 7, 8 months. So it might be a little new to me. So I might be more interested in trying it. I think that's where tech reviewers kind of, not all, some do fall short because they're using these phones there's not much time between them. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but
there's definitely recency bias. I think. I mean, but that's every phone that gets released.
Right,
like it could be a OnePlus, it could be a Sony, it could be an Apple, it could be any device. But I don't know. Like I think I said to you, Jason, like we've been using Vivo devices. We're big fans of Vivo devices, and the camera's again unbeaten on a Vivo device. But coming back to a true North American made, like as in like made for North American market, yeah. It's nice. It just works, right? Like you don't have to like tweak or change or.
That's why I missed when I sold my Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Like,
yes,
it wasn't the best phone ever, but having Google straight out of the box and everything, call screening, everything just works. The Vivo's fantastic, but there's still some weird. Even though it's the global version, there's still some weird things that you don't
quirks.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Mark, a story that came out this week. We actually met at a OnePlus event, but I fear we may be seeing the end of a dying star in the smartphone world. So, there's been multiple reports this week that OnePlus is shutting down in global markets, and allegedly it's meant to begin next week. I believe India is the first market that they're shutting down in.
That surprises me, in India of all places.
Yeah, which I think was a pretty big market for them. Now, I think there's been a little bit of clarification over the last couple of days. Mostly their offline sales, so store sales, carrier sales, whatever you want to describe them. I think that's mostly what this is referring to. I don't see them shutting down their online sales yet, but I do see them shutting short storefronts. I know that kind of makes sense. It's kind of what the world is like right now. Like it's hard to be a smartphone manufacturer and have a storefront.
Yeah, brick and mortar is just not.
Brick and mortars just don't work.
No.
And I mean, I think in the Indian market, I mean, they have access to all these mid-range and high-end devices now with Vivos and Xiaomis and Oppos. They're not the same. It's not the same value proposition that it once was in that market. And I think in North America with, Apple essentially fucking dominating everything.
It's not
and
that,
Samsung
Darren.
close behind.
OnePlus has no deals with carriers in the US.
That's the problem.
They're not going to make it. Motorola, Google, Samsung, and Apple are the only ones, really. I mean, besides some cheap knockoff, T-Mobile has some branded phones. I mean, Mark, what do you think? I mean, I'm kind of sad because OnePlus is competition. And on the Android side, we need as much competition as possible that makes phones better. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's just, this mostly comes down to Oppo. I mean, they're basically, for a couple of years there, they're releasing, sometimes the same phone, just different branded, a little bit different software and stuff. So I think Oppo just wants all the shine for themselves and stuff. And so I think OnePlus might be shut down in those regards. But OnePlus for me is one of those brands that, like I said, that event that we were at, a cruise, they do things differently. That was, pretty unique. And I think their phones, I missed the branding of OnePlus and what that meant back in the day when it first launched, and to even now with the OnePlus 15 was a fantastic phone. So I think this does seem like it's just, it's not going to be the same, and I think this might lead to them totally going away, which will suck, but it's not going to be the same, especially for us in North America. So it's sad. We need all the competition we can get. Yeah.
You know what? I got a conspiracy theory.
Oh, here we go.
So Oppo is going to shutter OnePlus because they don't need them. Oppo and OnePlus are pretty much the same brand. the Trump phone. Trump's going to buy It's going to buy OnePlus.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
That'd be a Sorry, I had to come back to it. No, but that'd be one. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if they shutter it, do you think something like Kodak and all these companies that have been around for years that have been bought out and bought out and bought out, do you think someone will buy the OnePlus? Maybe Nothing jumps on it and buys some of their, their patents.
I don't think Nothing. I think you might get
the guy who runs Nothing ran OnePlus, didn't he?
Yeah. I think maybe HMD, like they did with Nokia and all those other ones. Like maybe one of those companies might.
I think Carl would have a better time turning OnePlus around than HMD would.
So my theory is, it's kind of like what Mark was saying. I think Oppo should just, if they're going to shut OnePlus out, shut them out, but don't lose that connection with the North American market.
Right.
Start selling Oppo devices. Right. So like use that like tunnel that you've created.
Do you think if OnePlus has Oppo has an opening in the US, do you think they'll have the same fate as Huawei? Oh, they're spying. You don't think so? I mean, I don't know. I mean, OnePlus has been okay for the last few years. Like, there's been no talks about that happening. But I think OnePlus was originally a North American company, weren't they? I wanted to say
maybe they haven't turned the lens on them yet.
Do you remember when OnePlus first started? You had a lottery system.
Yeah.
And you had to be like,
good old days.
Oh, I love that.
You had to sign up and like be one of 8,000 to like get in line to buy a phone.
It was beautiful marketing because it was like a need based. Like, oh my God, it's so popular, it keeps selling out. I got to get one.
Yeah,
and that's the best feature of OnePlus. It was the marketing. They like Oppo. Just I think the same thing with Huawei. Like I still have a hard time understanding, is it Oppo or is it Oppo? Like it's one of those names where in the North American market you might just not know. But OnePlus is like, okay, OnePlus. But I think, I think OnePlus, I don't think they should totally get rid of them. I think the standout phone for OnePlus was the OnePlus Open. That was a foldable phone was well received. Just release that in the US. Like just keep new versions of that, and that would be good. But yeah, I'm ashamed that we didn't get the OnePlus Open 2 here and stuff. So that was one of the best phones they ever
I know.
Released, so
Which one? The Open?
That. The Open,
The Open. It was a good phone. It really
honestly, picking up one of those on the secondhand market in good condition would not be a bad phone to hang on to, just given the track record of OnePlus.
With no warranty and all that stuff, who knows? I always had that. You know me, when it comes to folding screens, you don't know how longevity is with those screens. So, like
the Pixel Fold.
The what?
The Pixel Fold?
Well, I didn't have it very long.
Yeah. But no, I'm just saying, like the longevity. Like, never mind. It was a reference to what happened to your Pixel Fold there, but we won't go into that now.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna cry now.
So there's a bit of a bizarre story talking about Oppo that has come out this week about their upcoming flagship device, the X9 Ultra. So you know how these Chinese phone manufacturers are releasing teleconverter kits, those little like cases and lenses that you screw on, and it gives you. So Oppo's come out and said with the Find X9 Ultra that it will have a built-in 10 times teleconverter.
I saw this article. Right? Yeah, I saw the article, yeah.
So they've come out and said here, this is on GSM Arena, really quickly while I'm trying to fix the wrong screen. There we go. So I don't even know how to explain this. Basically, while most of these companies have optional teleconverters, the X9 Ultra will have a built-in 10 times telephoto camera. So they released a teaser, which looks a little bit like this, which breaks down their kind of quote-unquote built-in teleconverter optics. So basically what they say...
Doesn't Samsung have a 10x optical built in as well?
No. Oh, do they?
The Ultra does.
It's like
it's
like a shitty 12 megapixel version, I think.
No, it's the main. Oh, maybe you're right.
Or is it a crop? I don't remember. Anyway, so what Oppo is basically saying here, to keep this really simple, is their built-in teleconverter, and I have to do air quotes on this one, is essentially them flexing their optical telephoto camera lens and stuff they're using in the device. So basically, they're going to be offering on their phone a 250 millimeter 10 times optical zoom on the X9 Ultra, plus 460 millimeter 20 times optical quality zoom, which is kind of like hybrid zoom. Now this is
it just like the 140X on the 4A Pro?
Yeah, on the nothing phone, yes. But the real
Darren,
yeah,
we're Oppo and Vivo guys.
yes.
I mean, you're more. I haven't had an Oppo in years. And Mark, I don't know if you've ever messed with Oppo or Vivo phones.
Yeah.
But we have the 300 Pro right now, and by far one of the best camera phones ever. I have the Xiaomi 15 Ultra too, and I'm still enjoying it. Darren has some issues. With all this being said with Oppo, it looks like hardware-wise, the Oppo 9X Ultra has more changes than the Vivo version. But if you had to choose between each Ultra, you could only pick one. Would you pick the Oppo or the Vivo?
Mark?
I haven't messed around with Vivo a lot, so I'll lean on you guys for that.
Did you have the 9 Pro, the Oppo? Have you messed with that at all?
No.
Okay,
so I hated the camera on the X9 Pro. I'll be the first to admit, I think that was all fucking hype. And comparably to the Vivo with its optics and its Zeiss lenses and all of that, I fucking hated that Oppo Find X9 Pro.
Okay.
For this to be impressive, they would need to fix a lot of the problems I saw on the X9 Pro, which was their telephoto lens was just fucking shit on the X9 Pro. I know I'm in the minority here, because a lot of people believe that the X9 Pro cameras are phenomenal, they're the greatest cameras ever made, blah, 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 blah. But again, when you're coming from a Vivo device and you realize what can be done with post-processing, Zeiss-coated lenses, like the best hardware that you can put in a camera phone, you can get some amazing photos.
Well, you don't have to have the best hardware. I mean, Google proved that how many years in a row with a 12.2 megapixel camera, and it did very well. The problem is, I know the Vivo coming out isn't that much change, but they're more focusing on video this time. And I think that's where Android's next big hurdle is. They can figure out cameras. If you can get post-processing in the right hardware combination, it's going to be great. The problem is video. Apple's always excelled at the video portion. And I think that's where Android's next big leap is. Has it been a huge leap? No, I think most of the video I shot on my Android devices have been fine, but I get it.
Now, one of the things that is a little bit concerning, like in regards to this device, is they're doing what Apple's doing with that fucking Prism bullshit. Let's not put a telephoto in there, but actually put a Prism shit in there.
Prism shit.
I don't believe. Yes, Prism. That's exactly right. Copyrighted. Tech Disruptors. What I'll say is
that's our next shirt. That's our next merch.
Next shirt. Yes.
The Prism
next
shit.
merch. Drop. Prism shit. I don't think. I think this is all marketing, is what I'll say, and I think that it's them trying to sell, this optical telephoto being the greatest thing ever, which in reality it doesn't mean it's going to be, right? Like we know that this is going to be a good phone. Oppo makes good phones. Are they the best camera? I don't think so. I still think that crown goes
DxO.
to the Vivo. Well, right now the Vivo's...
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, DxO is garbage. You heard that right.
Well, DxO has what? Huawei #1. I think the Vivo's they're the top 2 or 3. Yeah.
Now, anyway, Mark, we'll get back to you for a second. So what is on the docket? What's on the year? What's the plan for this year? What's on the bucket list for 2026 when it comes to Soldier Knows Best, buddy?
For me, actually, it would be so my family has a farm that I'm mostly taking care of, and so we don't have animals and stuff. We have wild animals, but
so you know how to farm better than I do, even though Darren's
I was thinking that earlier in Ohio, but so we have wild animals and stuff, and we ran out some of the farmland and stuff. So actually, just being out there is so nice, and little off-grid cabins and stuff. So I actually want to start like a kind of like a camping channel and outdoor, not just tech, but equipment and stuff, because I've been using a lot of that stuff and out there now. So it would be nice to go out there, film a few videos, once a month or something, and do that. So I can see myself starting that some point this year.
Can I make a suggestion, Mark? I think this would be incredible content, right? You invite Jason and I out there. and you give us some camping gear, and you see how long we survive for. Like we'll do
Sounds
some
like a Mr. Beast video.
Mr.
Yeah,
Beast.
yeah. We'll put up some trail cam, cameras, and we'll wear some fucking DJI and fucking drone footage, and it'll just be basically Jason and I crying in a corner because we're cold and we haven't been able to eat for 3 days.
So do we do
kinda
a
like
live?
Survivor.
Is there going to be like a live situation here?
That could be a live stream. Imagine that live stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Mark,
saying.
looking between the different cameras, Survivor style.
We could test
Right,
out
just-
how we had to have Starlink out there probably.
Yeah,
That-
that's
yeah.
what I use. Yeah, that's what I use. Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Jason's looking up how to build a fire on he's on his phone.
with my lighter.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, yeah.
two sticks, right? You just rub them together, right? That's all you need to do.
I think that's how it works, right? But that'll be some amazing content. Now, how what's the drive to do some I guess farming video channel? Where does that come from? Is that just because you have the farm, or is that something you've always been interested in?
Well, like I love to go camping. So I've always gone camping, and then in the military, you just you have to love being outside. So that is a good thing. So I always love being outside and camping and stuff. So it's just kind of like I've already had a lot of this equipment already, but it would be nice to cover some of that stuff and just something just different. Like we were talking about earlier, we're covering smartphones as a creator. You kind of get used to using the smartphones.
Yeah,
and
same
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
So for me, that's why I've been experimenting with e-bikes and just different things and stuff. So I have to continue to have my love for technology, but also doing this other stuff kind of really keeps me going. So it'll be a different change of pace when it comes to making videos.
Yeah, but I think
Oh.
being outdoors doesn't have to limit you because it's something you enjoy. It's different, but there's also you
Yeah.
can intertwine some tech in there. Dude, there's definitely some outdoor camping tech, and
Oh,
100%,
I get
yeah.
caught up in it's all about small living and small homes, and people all over the place are doing this. I think that'd be a great idea. Now, where I live, I probably wouldn't survive more than 12 hours. I've camped before, but it's been a little while. Yeah, I think that's amazing. I'd check that out. I love watching those kind of videos. Yeah, for sure.
Now, will this be a sub channel or a new channel, Mark?
Yeah, it'll be a totally new channel. Yeah.
Now, have you got a name in mind? Because we'll throw some suggestions out there. Jason and I will just riff off names right here.
I think I did. Like, I thought about this a few months ago. I did actually ask Gemini for some names. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think I saved the list somewhere. But if you guys have some ideas, let me know.
Hold on. Before I start riffing, he mentioned Gemini. Isn't it great? It's also great. It's also like scary that, back in the day.
Part of the vernacular.
I don't know how old you are, Mark. And I'm only 25. There was a time where a kid would knock on my door and say, "Hey, can Jason come out and play?" And we'd go ride bikes, play kickball, whatever. And then, hey, be creative. Just start writing things down. Well, now we have a tool that just kind of kicks that process off. But the scary part is that we do that now. But when it comes to riffing off names, I don't even know.
Well, so Soldier Knows Best is your YouTube channel. I've got that right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's riff off of this name. We'll do this live on air because Jason Trump didn't join our podcast, so now we've got to make up the last 5 minutes of our show. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Soldier Knows Farming. That's an exam, right? Jason, have you got a better
suggestion? Soldier Outdoors.
That's not bad. Soldier Outdoors.
A soldier really outdoors or something.
Yeah,
soldier
I like the A in front of it. Yeah,
because
the Soldier Knows Farming. It's because that's too niche. Like outdoors encompasses everything.
What about the farming soldier?
You're stuck on farming, dude.
There, right? Well, he said he's got a farm. He does farming. That's what you do when you have a farm, right? Right.
I'm done. I'm let you just riff off the farming stuff.
See, here we go. Right, yeah. Soldier Knows Farming. Yes, that's Jimmy the Fire Dragon.
I don't know,
Jimmy. He gets it.
Look, I can't speak for Mark, but it didn't sound like he's going out and growing crops and milking cows.
No. We ran off some of the land for other farmers to come farm. So I just watch them.
So, have you ever seen
Soldier Knows Watching Farming?
Have you ever seen the Amazon series with Jeremy Clarkson? He has his own
farm. The Lamborghini tractor.
Yeah. See, I think there is a market for people that start in one area like tech and pivot into things like farming and nature and those kind of videos. I think that's a really untapped part of like the YouTube world. We have a lot of like, off-gridders and like, those people who live out of their cars and all that bullshit. But very rarely do we get like a person who goes, you know what? I'm a tech person, but I'm going to try and do this now. And I think, Mark, honestly, I think you have an amazing idea there.
And for sure.
Think everybody that's listening, when Mark finally gets this up and going, check it out, right? Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, because I think it's good to support other creators who have other endeavors and other interests.
Well,
right?
It's not just that. As a tech YouTuber, you're constantly surrounded by technology, and to get out in the open and just kind of have some peace and quiet. Honestly, you're making videos different, but just like disconnecting with the hustle and bustle of a city, going out to the middle of nowhere where it's quiet. I think that makes it's not only benefits you, but it also benefits your audience.
Yeah.
Once I launch the channel, I'll come back on the podcast and I'll be streaming.
Absolutely.
I'll be streaming.
Yeah. That would be amazing if you're streaming from the farm.
No, but Mark, you got to here. So Jimmy here says, the way Logan went into WWE, maybe you should get into like WWE.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Well, I'll do WWF for farming. We'll bring the.
There you go. Yeah, I think WWF is probably copyrighted somewhere.
Yeah, it was like World Life Federation or something. It was like a nature group, and they had to.
Yeah. Well, listen, Mark, we appreciate you coming on the show today. We watch all of your content. We love having you on there. You're a smart guy, and obviously you're making some big moves in 2026, and we really appreciate having you on today, buddy. So thanks for coming in today.
Anytime.
And listen, we're here live every Sunday, doing our thing, talking tech, talking to creators, trying to get on Netflix. We're doing all of this stuff. And Jason and I...
trying to get a Trump phone, of course, too.
Trying to get Trump phone. Trying to get Trump on the podcast. Jeez, that's going to be the new thing. We're going to text him every fucking week at this point. Oh,
no. I'm deleting that app. I'm going to get like... They're going to have Homeland Security on my butt or something.
Clear the cache on your phone, too. Fucking
just clear the cache.
Or factory reset.
I don't think that matters anymore.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on the Tech Disruptors podcast. We are live on YouTube Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can also catch us after the fact on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, everywhere you find amazing podcasts. And please check out Mark's content and Jason's content at 2&A Tech on YouTube. My name's Darren.
Mark's links are in the description. My name is Jason.
And thank you very much, Mark, for joining us. And we will catch everybody next Sunday at 4 p.m. Peace.